And it doesn't seem to be any compromise with her. It's her way or the highway. And that's not going to work for the citizens of the city.
A Southside alderwoman today rejecting Mayor Lori Lightfoot's claim that 99% of her critics are motivated by racism or sexism.
The mayor said she's being judged in ways her two previous white male predecessors were not. Our political editor, Mike Flannery, is here now with more on this. Mike.
Wow. This woman literally fixed her face to say that 99%. Like, this woke stuff is just insane, man. Like, she didn't say, I've 20%, 15%. 99% of the criticism she gets is because of racism and sexism. Oh my God. I mean, this city's so bad that they literally, this is the thing. They turned down the National Guard. She didn't want the National Guard. But now the police are literally acting like a military force on the streets of Chicago. It takes a military-style effort to just have 80 shootings and 15 murders in a weekend. You see this black woman yelling at you. You've seen black people from the community criticizing you. And you won't even say, well, 50%, 66% of the criticism is because of racism, sexism. You still say 99%. And about this black woman that's yelling at her right there, the one that I did the video about that cussed her out, Jeanette Taylor. You can't make this stuff up. In 2015, Jeanette Taylor led a hunger strike. You can't make this stuff up. In 2015, she led a hunger strike that successfully protested the proposed closure of Dyett High School. Of Dyett. You can't make this stuff up. This woman, this is under another mayor, a white heterosexual, as they would call it, cisgender male. This woman led a hunger strike. Do you know what it took for her to lead a hunger strike? Protesting the proposed closure of Dyett High School. So that kind of blows holes in the theory that the other mayors had it so good. That the other mayors get it. It was easy street. No one criticized the other mayors. Which we know is not true. I mean, they got hell. Rahm Emanuel. They got hell. The governor, the white governor, was in jail until a few years ago. He was doing a bid. But, of course, they only pick on black people. Blagojevich, yeah, that's his name, Rob Blagojevich. He was doing a bid. They locked him up. But yeah, our buddy, Miss Jeanette Taylor, the one who we saw cussing out Lori Lightfoot, during the last mayor's administration, that woman led a hunger strike because the mayor wanted to close down a school. Just think about it. And Lori thinks she got it bad. All that woman did was come up and cuss Lori out. That woman led a hunger strike. She went without. She deprived herself. She took one for the team, Jack. And trust me, I'm a biggin, man. I ain't big because I'm so tall, but I weigh a lot. You probably see me and be like, damn. But I'm 6'3", 290. So I ain't like, you know what I'm saying, like fat like that, but I'm a big guy and I like to eat. Damn, Jeanette.
It's her way or the highway, and that's not going to work for the citizens of the city.
A Southside alderwoman today rejecting Mayor Lori Lightfoot's claim that 99% of her critics are motivated by racism or sexism.
The mayor said she's being judged in ways her two previous white male predecessors were not. Our political editor, Mike Flannery, is here now with more on this. Mike.
Well, Sally, the mayor told Channel 11's Chicago Tonight broadcast that virtually all of the criticism she faces comes because she's a black woman.
About 99% of it.
Expand on that.
Expand on that. I was watching a live stream last night, and somebody was saying, one of the callers said, they can't wait for the day where glacier gliders just start saying, man, get the hell out of here with that crap, man. Because we're in a place now where you can't disagree with a sun person if you're a glacier glider. You have to agree with a sun person, no matter what they say. No matter how ridiculous it is. Scottie Pippen talking about Phil Jackson is racist. When the last thing you do, if you hate black people, and you can't stand being around them, and you want to see them fail, the last thing you'll do is be the all-time winningest championship coach in the NBA. No one who hates black people becomes a coach in the NBA. And no one who's just an all-out racist leads all types of black men to the greatest heights of their career. But Scotty says, Phil Jackson's racist. Another Chicago guy, Scottie Pippen, ironically. Phil Jackson's racist because he called the play for a white guy who'd hit multiple buzzer beaters that year instead of calling it for me. That's what makes Phil racist. He called the play for a white guy. And the white guy hit the buzzer beater shot because Scotty wouldn't go in the game. Scotty refused to go in the game because the play wasn't called for him. And because of that, Phil's racist. And no white people in the sports world have come out to defend Phil Jackson. Because you just don't do that. When a black person says something, you just pat them on the head and say, yeah, I know. That's the respectable thing to do nowadays. You don't challenge sun people. You do not challenge them. They say something ridiculous, you just act like it makes sense. No matter how ridiculous it is. Forget the fact that after Scotty played for Phil, later on in his career, he went to coach as an assistant under Phil Jackson. Never mind that. But now all of a sudden in 2021, Phil's racist because in 1994, in a game, where in the last minute, Scotty missed 2 shots in the final minute. And then the Bulls got the ball back with 1 second left. After Scotty missed the 2 shots on the previous 2 possessions. And Phil called the play for Tony Kukoc, who'd hit multiple buzzer beaters that year for the team. And that's what makes Phil racist. And not one white analyst, coach, player has had the courage to come up and say, that's ridiculous, man. And this is the bit, and I'm gonna be glad when that time comes. When they get tired of it, like when they get tired of just everything we say is right. We can't say anything wrong. Everything's legitimate. Every claim we have is legitimate. If we say it's racism, it's racism. I'll be glad when there's some pushback against that, because this stuff is starting to get annoying.
About 99% of it.
Expand on that.
Well, I mean, look at my predecessors. Did people say that Rich Daley held tea sessions with people that he didn't disagree on? Rahm Emanuel was a polite guy who was a uniter? No. Women and people of color are always held to a different standard.
Now, what she said made absolutely no sense. It was incoherent. It makes you wonder, is she affirmative action high? Like, how did she get a law degree from the University of Chicago? One of the greatest schools in this country. How did this woman, if this is her answer to this, she's a lawyer. That was incoherent. It made no sense.
Well, I mean, look at my predecessors. Did people say that Rich Daley held tea sessions with people that he didn't disagree on? Rahm Emanuel was a polite guy who was a uniter? No. Women and people of color are always held to a different standard.
Agreements like this one last week that was captured by reporters at City Hall with the mayor called the mayor's claim a, quote, cop-out.
The same way that I challenged her, I've challenged Rahm, and I've challenged Daley. So who does that go for? And I was a community organizer then. That's not true. That's the cop-out. That is the cop-out. At the end of the day, it is her responsibility and her duty as our co-worker to pull us together and have us figure out plans that work for our community.
And indeed, the plans that many aldermen, a couple of dozen or so, are concerned about are those for this 4th of July weekend. Jeanette Taylor is one of nearly 20 members of the City Council seeking to convene a meeting this Friday to bring Superintendent David Brown in to discuss police deployments and plans ahead of what some fear could be a dreadfully deadly weekend.
See the way they just talk about that stuff like it's nothing? I mean, he's not talking about it like it's nothing. Let me just say how like what he said was insane. And the fact that it's true. And the fact that the mayor of that city says that 99% of the criticism she gets is because she's a black woman. Listen to what this guy says that we all know is true. That no one will contest this. Hit one if you agree that left or right, center, wherever you lie politically, there's no one that will contest that this is going to happen this weekend.
And indeed, the plans that many aldermen, a couple of dozen or so, are concerned about are those for this 4th of July weekend. Jeanette Taylor is one of nearly 20 members of the City Council seeking to convene a meeting this Friday to bring Superintendent David Brown in to discuss police deployments and plans ahead of what some fear could be a dreadfully deadly weekend. The mayor says police have previously provided briefings to all aldermen.
Of
I'm
course.
political editor Mike Flannery. Back to you.